Good Sunday morning, everybody. This is Stephen Ray, and I wanted to jump here on social media and let you guys know real quick that unfortunately, first off, let me go ahead and say Happy Mother's Day to all of the moms out there. And unfortunately, on your Mother's Day, we now have an enhanced risk of severe storms for a good portion of northern and western Mississippi, and this does include a couple of places around the Memphis metro area, stretching all the way down to just north of the Highway 82 corridor, and then all the way back into Louisiana, Arkansas, and the eastern portions of Texas for this afternoon and this evening. And so this is going to be a rather significant threat of damaging straight line winds and large hail, and the outside risk of a couple of tornadoes. So now, if you are around the Jackson, Mississippi metro area or around central Mississippi, basically from Highway 82 south, this is your level threat tonight, for this afternoon and tonight. If you are along the delta of Mississippi, basically from Kosciuszko all the way to Greenwood, Greenville, Cleveland, Mississippi, Hamburg, Arkansas, Bastrop, Louisiana. Your threat is in the enhanced risk. Severe storms are likely, damaging wind gusts upwards of 70, large hail up to golf ball sized, and tornadoes cannot be ruled out. If you are along the I 55 corridor from Kosciuszko south, and you are all the way down to Kosciuszko, all the way down to Macon and Macomb and Brookhaven, Mississippi, including the Jackson, Mississippi metro area. Severe storms are possible, damaging wind gusts up to 60 to 70, quarter to golf ball sized hail, and an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. And if you are down there in the Pine Belt area of Mississippi, you guys are underneath the marginal risk for isolated severe storms, a damaging wind gust, hail up to quarter sized, and a brief tornado cannot be ruled out. But the further northwest you go, the more significant the severe weather is going to be. Now, if you are up here in the mid south area, closer to Memphis, Oxford, over to Tupelo, also in Hernando, Mississippi, you guys are now in the enhanced risk of severe storms any time of the day. The peak severe weather chance is from mid afternoon through mid early evening for the entire mid south, with the greatest risk going to be in this enhanced risk from basically Jackson, Tennessee, all the way down to Oxford, and then back off to the north and to the west. And as you will note, the threat level has been increased for tornadoes, but the main threat is going to be damaging straight line winds, large hail, flooding, and then the possibility of a few tornadoes later this afternoon and this evening. So, as always, right here on the Facebook page, I will be providing severe weather updates for you guys. And in the event that we do have severe weather later today for any portion of Mississippi, and especially the northwestern portions of Mississippi in the enhanced risk and the slight risk, I will be here providing severe weather coverage for you guys as a secondary way for you to see severe weather. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay weather aware if you are over here in Mississippi, because we could have a significant threat of damaging straight line winds, large hail, and a couple of tornadoes as early as 1 p.m. this afternoon for the northwestern portions of Mississippi, and then spreading all the way until midnight tonight for the southern portions of Mississippi down here towards Meridian, Laurel, McGee, and Brookhaven. So this is going to be a rather, uh, interesting day to say the least, with severe weather potential. And I want you guys to have multiple ways of receiving warnings, and especially if you are near the Memphis Metro, if you were near Oxford on the University of Ole Miss campus, if you were near Tupelo, Mississippi, and then, of course, if you were over here in the Delta of Mississippi, basically from Kosciuszko and points off to the north and to the west. You guys need to have multiple ways of receiving warnings later today and tonight. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We will be here providing severe weather coverage in the event that we do have severe weather. And the first time that a watch is issued, I will be right back here on social media to provide the latest weather information and to let you guys know about the watches. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Mother's Day, and as always, God bless. All right. Okay. For those of you who are still on, I am now going to switch over and give the outlooks for the Alabama areas. Okay, so here is your risk if you're watching me in central or northern Alabama. And as you can see, the most significant threat is going to be for Alabama along the northwestern portions of the state of Alabama. The most significant threat, I think, is going to be closer to the Oxford, Memphis area in Mississippi. But we still have a threat of damaging straight line winds and large hail for the northwestern portions of the state of Alabama, including the Huntsville metro area, Florence, Tuscumbia, Muscle Shoals, Russellville, Athens, and even Coleman, Alabama. So there is the threat level that we have for northwestern Alabama. Hope you guys are doing well on this Sunday morning, and I wanted to catch you guys before y'all went out to church just to let you guys know that there is a threat of severe storms for a good portion of northwestern Alabama. And let me go ahead and first off say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Now, here is your risk area if you are up there in northwestern and northern Alabama. Severe thunderstorms are possible along and ahead of a cold front across the middle Tennessee and the northern Alabama area. The greatest risk for North Alabama is along and west of I 65. However, the Huntsville Metro is in the slight risk area. And basically from Huntsville, Madison, Decatur, Hartselle, Athens, Russellville, Florence, Tuscumbia, Muscle Shoals, and Coleman, you guys are in the slight risk area from late this afternoon into the evening hours for small hail, strong to damaging straight line winds, and flash flooding. I really feel like, in my opinion, that the best tornado threat is going to be over here in the enhanced risk area that includes Tupelo, Mississippi, Oxford, Mississippi, Greenville, and the Memphis metro area. However, a few isolated tornadoes cannot be ruled out in North Alabama, but I do think that the main threat is going to be a straight line wind event for northern Alabama, hail, and then flash flooding later tonight. All right, so that is for North Alabama. What is going to happen is your screen is going to go dark here just for a second as I switch over to Radar Omega to show you the outlook and the spots for northern Alabama that includes the northwestern portions of the Birmingham area. All right, so if you were watching me in Phil Campbell, Hackleburg, Hamilton, Detroit, Ewan, Winfield, Eldridge, Carbon Hill, Arley, Addison, Coleman, Falkville, Redstone Arsenal, Gurley, Alabama. If you were watching me in Decatur, Hartselle, Good Hope, you guys, and anywhere this yellow line that you see and points off to the northwest, you guys are in the slight risk for damaging straight line winds and large hail later this afternoon and this evening. If you are along and northwest of the line that comes through this green line here that stretches from Talladega to Heflin down to Centerville, Brent, Greensboro, and Demopolis, you guys are in the marginal risk area for severe storms for the potential of a few isolated damaging wind gusts upwards of 60, as this line will be weakening as it moves into Alabama. And the further south you go into Alabama, the less the risk becomes. But like I said, if you were watching me right now in Fayette, Hamilton, Haleyville, Phil Campbell, Russellville, Florence, Athens, Decatur, Hartselle, Huntsville, uh, Jasper, on the northern side of Jasper, down here towards Millport, Kennedy, just north of Reform. You guys are in the slight risk area for later this afternoon and this evening for the potential of damaging straight line winds and large hail and a very small tornado threat. Now, if you're watching from Tuscaloosa to Birmingham to Gadsden to Anniston, you guys are once again in the marginal risk, which means an isolated severe weather wind gust or an isolated hail threat is over your area. But if you know of anybody, Alabama friends, if you got anybody, friends that are in the Oxford, Mississippi area, the New Albany, Mississippi area, the Pontotoc, Mississippi area, Indianola, Greenville, Greenwood, Winona, Grenada, Oxford, Hernando, South Haven, or Memphis. You need to go on ahead and give them a call or send them a text and let them know that, hey, you guys are underneath an enhanced risk of severe storms with a couple of tornadoes later today. But for Alabama, I think the biggest tornado threat is going to be across the orange shaded area that runs from Jackson, Tennessee, all the way back to just off to the east of Waco, Texas. I think your main tornado threat today is going to be for cities of Jackson, Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee, Oxford, Mississippi, Shreveport, Louisiana, Monroe, Louisiana, and Tyler, Texas. But if you're watching me from basically the Nashville area all the way down to Huntsville and down to Fayette, Alabama, you still have a threat of seeing severe weather with the potential of damaging straight line winds. And I know that this is Mother's Day, and a lot of people are going to be wanting to spend time with their mothers and having outdoor plans and stuff like that. But I cannot stress enough that you need a way of receiving warnings in the event that we have a couple of tornado warnings and a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings here in northern Alabama, and especially across the areas over here in northern Mississippi. So once again, if you guys have any friends and or family near the Memphis metro area, the Hernando, South Haven, Mississippi, Oxford, Mississippi, Pontotoc, Clarksdale, and places within this orange area over here, this orange circle, you need to go on ahead and give them a call, send them a text, or contact them anyway and let them know, hey, that there is a threat of severe weather for your area later today and tonight. And this could be a pretty significant wind damage threat for a good portion of northwestern Mississippi. So that is the situation that we got going on here. Real quick, I do want to show you this, that there is your greatest wind damage threat, and it's going to be in that moderate, the enhanced risk area. But as you can see, there is still a threat that goes all the way just east of the Huntsville metro area, down into the slight risk area that does include Columbus and Starkville. So there is definitely a possibility of a strong damaging wind threat of 60 to 70 miles per hour across the northwestern portions of the area. There is also a risk of very large hail, basically from Red Bay, curving down to a point near Cherokee and Cloverdale, Alabama, and then points off to the west. So that is the lower threat, is the large hail. But there is still a threat of large hail for a small sliver of northwestern Alabama. And then I'll also show you the tornado potential. And there is still a small risk for the areas towards Florence and Tuscumbia, points off to the northwest. This does not, the tornado potential is very low for anybody that is from the areas of Littleville and Russellville and points off to the southeast. I'm not saying that it can happen, but it is a very, 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 very small risk of a tornado later today. And one more thing I do want to also mention before I let you guys go is that on the day tomorrow, there is a risk of severe storms from basically I 80 south. And basically from 84 and Highway 80 south, there is a risk south of a line from Livingston to Demopolis over to Selma and then Montgomery and points off to the south for the potential of damaging straight line winds and a couple of tornadoes later on in the day tomorrow. But I do want to get through today's severe weather event before we start focusing on tomorrow. So once again, this will be a day to go on ahead and celebrate. Your mother, and just know that there is a risk of seeing severe storms for a good portion of the northwestern portions of Alabama, and of course Mississippi over here as well. Around 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon is when you really need to start paying attention to the weather and have multiple ways of receiving warnings. And let me also share this with you for our friends over here in Alabama. So your screen is going to be the red there for just a second, but I do also want to share this information with you, that if you are in Alabama, if you are watching anywhere in the state of Alabama right now, if you download or have the Zillow app, you can find our weather coverage and our live updates, and the warnings will actually be read over on the cell phone to you. It will basically be like this: the National Weather Service in Birmingham has issued a blank. Uh, at 9:17, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing this was over this location, and it will read you the actual warning statements. And we will also provide severe weather coverage for you guys and give you guys updates, so you can follow us on the Zillow app under Alabama Storm Troopers. And so we really want you guys to follow us on Zillow, because that is another way of receiving warnings in the event that we have severe weather. And a couple of days ago, when we had the severe weather outbreak before, we had a lot of cable issues and we had a lot of power issues across a good portion of northern Alabama. The Zillow app is another great way to have a backup if you don't have TV or if you don't have internet access. As long as you've got cell phone service, you guys can get the warnings that you need in advance of these severe storms. And the Zillow app does all of the counties of Alabama. It does warnings and advisories from Huntsville, the National Weather Service in Huntsville, National Weather Service in Birmingham, National Weather Service down in Mobile, and the National Weather Service down in Tallahassee because of a couple of counties that the Weather Service in Tallahassee cover. So they will definitely provide coverage for you in the event that we do have severe weather on the Zillow app. So look for us, the Alabama Stormtroopers. We would love to be your secondary or third source of severe weather over there on the Zillow app. So once again, I wanted to jump here on social media and let you guys know, if you're just now joining me, that there is an enhanced risk of severe storms across a good portion of Mississippi and a slight risk of severe storms for the northwestern corner of the state of Alabama for later today and tonight. And I'm going to say this once again so that everybody can understand this. I think between now and 1 o'clock, everybody's going to be good in Alabama. About 2 to 3 to 4 is when you guys need to really start paying attention to the weather, having multiple ways of receiving warnings, as a line of storms is going to develop over here between Little Rock and Memphis, and then congeal into a line of storms and push east and southeast through the remainder of the afternoon and the early evening hours into the overnight hours. And I think by the time we get past midnight tonight, that is when the severe weather risk will be over. I think because the loss of daytime heating and the storms are going to outrun the best instability and the best forcing to keep the storms going. So I think once these storms get into the Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Gadsden, Anniston areas, I really feel like that the storms are going to be in a weakening state and that they are going to only produce isolated severe weather. But if you are along and northwest of that line, basically from Huntsville back to Coleman and then down to Fayette and Berry and then across the northern portions of Pickens County, that's going to be, I really feel like, your cutoff line of severe storms. I think this is going to be a very fine line of, okay, you're going to see severe weather and you're going to see just a significant weather alert because these storms are going to be weakening as they move into more stable air for the Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Gadsden, Anniston area. And then as they get down here towards Montgomery and Auburn, they're just going to be general thunderstorms by the time they reach down there in the pre-dawn hours in the morning. So I feel like as time goes on later today and this evening, that is going to be how this is all going to play out. But like I said, I really, if you have anybody, because we do have people that we know friends, we know family members that live in Mississippi, since we're in Alabama. If you know of anybody that lives in Mississippi, you need to go on ahead and just give them a friendly call, give them a friendly text, send them a message on Twitter, Facebook, however, and let them know that there is a pretty significant threat of damaging straight line winds, and especially if they are in the Oxford, Mississippi area, the Greenville, Mississippi area, the Kosciuszko, Mississippi area, or around the Memphis metro area, or anybody that is in this orange shaded area right here. So, guys, that is going to do it for this update. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Keep it tuned right here to the Facebook group, the Facebook page, and all of my social media accounts wherever you may be watching. As soon as the storms start to fire and the first watch is issued for either Mississippi and or Alabama, I will be right back here to let you guys know about the watch and the warning issues. And if we have severe storms that break out, I will be doing long form coverage for you guys today because this day is going to be a special day. With it being Mother's Day, so I intend to do long form coverage to keep you guys ahead of the latest weather information and ahead of the storms out there. Once again, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I'm going to real quick go back over. I'm going to leave this up, but I'm going to go back over to my comments section. And before I go, I'm going to answer any of the questions that you guys may have. And then, of course, I will sign off for a couple of hours and then come back once the first watch is issued to let you guys know about it. Okay, so what is the time frame for Alabama? The time frame from Alabama is going to be from about 3 o'clock, as early as 1 o'clock, but about 3 o'clock till about midnight tonight. That is the time frame for Alabama. It's going to be earlier if you're over there in Mississippi. Mississippi could start seeing severe weather as early as 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. If you were up here near the Memphis, Tennessee area. But once again, for Alabama, it's going to be probably after 3 o'clock this afternoon and then pushing into the early evening hours over there for the northwestern corner of the state of Alabama. So that is going to be the issues later this afternoon and this evening. Kathy, can you tell me where exactly you're watching in North Alabama? Because if you were in Northeast Alabama, over here towards the Fort Payne area, I think your severe weather risk is going to be a lot less. However, if you are from the Huntsville metro back off to the west, that is going to be your most significant threat of severe weather. And I can actually give me just a second, Kathy, and I can give you a line of where the best severe weather is going to set up for North Alabama. All right, so basically, if you are along and west and northwest of a line from Gurley, Alabama, down to the city of Coleman, Good Hope, Alabama, and then curving down through all of Smith Lake, then curving down to I 22, just on the northern suburbs of Jasper, then curving down to just north of Berry, and then curving down into Kennedy, Millport, and then Ethelsville and Macedonia over there in Pickens County, and then curving down to Columbus, Mississippi, and points off to the north and to the west. Your severe weather risk is going to be later tonight, and that is where the greatest severe weather risk is going to be. All right, so let me just say this one more time for the northwestern portions and the northern portions of Alabama. If you are watching in the Birmingham Metro, if you're watching in Guntersville, Lake Guntersville, Scottsboro, Fort Payne, Gadsden, Anniston, your severe weather risk is on the lower side. Still can't rule it out. It's going to be an isolated threat, but it's going to be a lot less than what is happening. Now, if you were in Hazel Green, Ardmore, Huntsville, Decatur, Madison, Hartselle, Coleman, Haleyville, Russellville, Florence, Tuscumbia, Killen, Muscle Shoals, Phil Campbell, Hamilton, Hackleburg, Red Bay, Winfield, Carbon Hill, Ewen, Sulligent, Kennedy, Millport. You guys are going to be in the threat of severe storms later today. And this slight risk does not include any portion of the Birmingham Metro. The Birmingham and Tuscaloosa metros are in the isolated severe weather potential. The scattered severe weather potential is going to be along this yellow line here and points off to the north and to the west. So once again, just to not cause any confusion, Athens, Alabama, Decatur, Alabama, Hartselle, Alabama, Russellville, Haleyville, Hamilton, Red Bay, Alabama, Tuscumbia, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, Madison. You guys are in the risk for severe storms later tonight, this evening, and tonight. All right, so I am going to take a short break off of Facebook and continue to watch the latest trends. And if anything happens to pop up here very soon or later on, Coleman was going to Florence. Now, I will say this about northern Alabama. If you are in the northern portions of Alabama, from Florence down to Coleman, I think your greatest severe weather risk is going to be after 3 p.m. this afternoon. So if you're going to Florence, I would say right now, because I can show you there's nothing on radar right now in northern Alabama. The closest rain is going to be this batch of storms that is coming over here towards South Haven and Hernando, Mississippi. So if you're going to Coleman, if you're from Coleman going to Florence right now, I think between now and 3 o'clock, you're good. After 3 o'clock is when your issues are going to be for North Alabama. So once again, let me also put this into motion for you. So as you can see, your severe weather right now and your storms are firing up from basically South Haven, Mississippi back to Clarksdale. And so this is going to be the first stuff that we're going to have to watch later today. And then the severe weather will really get going across the northern portions of Alabama later this afternoon and this evening. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And as always, to all the mothers that are watching out there, happy Mother's Day. And I will be back here providing severe weather coverage in the event that we have a watch pop up, or if any of these storms do become severe over here in northern Mississippi and then progress across into the northwestern portions of Alabama. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And as always, from all of us here at the Stormtroopers Network, God bless. I will be here providing severe weather updates later on today as a secondary source to give you guys severe weather out and severe weather coverage. Have a great rest of your day.